Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode number 23 of Roll20 Presents Tomb of Annihilation. There's some ominous birds, which, I mean, it's scarier when I think about it than it is probably when I say it. But there's some ominous-ass birds. And
all right, Hitchcock.
yeah, that's right. Exactly. There's an ominous British man standing in profile. Da-da. All right. So there are these cranes, these strange kind of like curious, enormous birds, and they're not flapping and screeching. They're just sort of sitting perched atop the statues and on top of this dome. Just the three of them just looking down at you. Kind of. What do you do?
Are y'all cool with me doing a thing?
Yeah, you got a thing?
Yeah, you deal with
Yeah.
animal.
So little fox does the usual hands up and inclines her head and says, I've come to speak with you, but I need to, and she kind of just gestures vaguely, and then I'm gonna start doing so I can cast speak with animals as a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start that process.
Okay.
Which takes 10 minutes.
Okay. So everybody else has 10 minutes while Little Fox prepares the ritual of speech. What are y'all doing?
She is gonna be nearby, ready to pounce if anything comes to.
All right, so you're being the bodyguard.
Yeah, to attack Little Fox while she's working.
Okay. Nerd Squad, what are you gonna do?
Are there any more cool writings?
I mean, you could look.
Yeah, I want to look around for more of that interesting text, because the more I gather of it, the more likely I'll be able to at least make some kind of sense of it.
Yeah, if you spend 10 minutes searching a terrace for stuff, then I can give you a roll. Malik, do you also want to search?
Yes, yeah, I will go and help because I'm also curious what this queen and her people did to annoy everybody and why they were in exile. I think probably.
Oh, damn. Okay, cool. Chat just saw the thing that I rolled. Chat, look, this is important. Okay. So Arcturus, let's do yours first with your little scene. These happen at the same time, but Arcturus, you're digging through, you're looking around, and show me where you're at. Are you looking in the bushes? Are you looking up on top?
I think that if I've got 10 minutes, then I would look where we've seen it before. So I'm looking at the walls of the flower holders on both sides.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're peering down into the trees, and you hear a faint rattling sound, like someone just shaking a rattle off to your left. And when you look, you see some of the leaves kind of rustle. And then you hear it to your right, and when you look, you see the leaves rustle, and then and then you hear it rattle again. And sitting in front of you, as if it weighs nothing, just sitting on top of an open a orange blossom, sitting in the blossom, it's only about yay big, is a little grayish skinned creature. It looks familiar. You've seen one of these before. You saw them in climbing the stairs in Orlunga. Yeah, a little dark creature, and it's wearing a mask, and its mask is actually the shape of an open flower, and then the little middle part comes out looking like a tongue. And it just kind of looks up at you curiously. This tiny little sprite thing.
Little chewinga.
Is it doing anything?
I mean, it was teasing you, and now it's just observing.
Oh, it was shaking its tongue out, or was that just
it made the noise to make you look, and then it was gone, and then it made a noise somewhere else to make you look, and then it was gone. So it was making it was making you look around.
Yeah, I think if I see the chewinga, I would definitely be like Ishi, because Ishi always did the things that always went first, and I would just be like,
oh, what is it?
it's one of those things from Orlunga. I mean, it's not holding any flowers this time. I wonder what it wishes us to do here.
Make my way over to where the chewinga is, and looking at it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, and it's doing that thing where it's mirroring you. So like when you turn your head, it turns its head, and like if you lift your hand, it lifts its hand.
And I go, "What do you want? Why are you bugging Arcturus?"
And so the two of you are like over here.
Yeah.
And it gestures like, come closer.
Is it like down or?
Yeah. So it's like down 5 feet. You're looking down at it, and it's just like.
Do you think we should? I mean, they didn't get us into trouble before. They actually let us pass trouble before.
Yeah.
Little Fox is occupied, but
Like you're standing looking at it. You could get closer by like kneeling, or like you could reach out.
Okay.
Or you don't have to go all the way around.
Yeah, I definitely just like kneel down and like lean over sort of thing.
Okay. So it's even smaller. Like these things are tiny, right? It's even smaller than you.
Yeah.
Let me see. I think we have y'all have a handout for it. I'll show chat.
Chewinga hand.
Chewinga. They're so small.
Yeah, they're tiny little masked creatures. And actually, this is a pretty good example of like what they're up to. So yeah, and it's just out there. And so, sorry, you describe what you were doing again.
So I lean down towards it, like kneel down to its level, if I can.
Should we praise Ooptao or something?
I gotta wait, see what it does first.
Okay.
I say like I'm some expert on.
I like Arcturus and me. We're very amused by your relationship to Ooptao. It's like hilarious to me.
Okay. So you so what did you put your like hand out or?
No, yeah, like
lean
I get like close to it by getting low down and like leaning forward towards it a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't fall.
It hops across a couple of little like leaves, and it gets like up onto a frond that's kind of like right in front of you and standing on this leaf, and it's like sort of face to face with you. And it reaches out and it like boops you on the snout. Just goes like boom. And there's a little puff of pollen. It goes poof, up in front of you. And when you turn to look at Arcturus, Arcturus, you see that Ishi over like on the top of her forehead and then like under one eye and kind of in a curling pattern, there is a like a faintly glowing line that fades to just like a slight discolored like mark on Ishi's face.
Oh dear.
What is it?
Oh, you just have. Can I like, if there's a mark on Ishi's face, can I like attempt to like rub it off?
Yeah,
like,
totally. Like your thumb.
Yeah, I'm just like, stay.
No, it's just like it's like discoloration. It looks like a birthmark. And the two of you spend a second like kind of debating over this, or like you're like, come here, and you like try to rub it off, and there's the whole thing. But when you look back, the chewinga is gone. It's vanished. But Ishi. Now, I'll tell you this, Elf. Ishi, you can figure, like, this probably will activate at a time where Ishi is, like, desperate for it, but Ishi doesn't know, like, you as Ishi's player, you can use it whenever you want, but try to justify it as, like, Ishi's internal emotional, like, state triggers it. The chewinga has given you a charm. It's the charm of heroism. And you can use it to give yourself the benefit of a potion of heroism as an action.
All right.
You get to use that once.
So the potion of heroism, you gain 10 temporary hit points that last for 1 hour, and you are under the effect of the bless spell.
Cool.
And the bless spell, let me
Is
just
it
like
D4 on your attack rolls and stuff, right?
attack roll or saving throw.
Yeah. And there's no concentration. It just lasts on you. So this chewinga has just given you a mark of heroism.
And the mark just lasts until she uses it?
Yeah, it'll just stick around on you till you use it.
Is it like a similar color to the scales on me and Malik?
No, because
Different?
this was granted by a chewinga, not by the sage.
Yes, of course. And then I like attempt to like rub it off, and I'm like, can I like, I don't know, like make a Arcana or like religious check to see if I think that it's like
you can make an Arcana check.
Bad.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just see. I get a 10.
You have no idea. It just, it looks like a strange birthmark. Had you not seen it delivered, and if you had not been so familiar with Ishi's face already, you wouldn't have even noticed it.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's not. It doesn't look too bad, right? It's not.
I don't know what it is, but I don't think it's dangerous.
So while all this is happening,
Yeah.
or like at the end of while this is happening, Malik, you find yourself at the top of these stairs, and you are looking down into the garden, and in the garden you see a grisly sight. You can see lying kind of in the middle of this garden patch, amidst the flowers and the vines, you see a human skeleton. The skeleton has a thick, thorny vine wrapped around its neck and around one arm. The vine is growing up through its rib cage. Its mouth is open, and there's a red flower that's like grown up out of the mouth. And there are bits of leather, metal buckles, things that haven't decomposed fully yet, lying around the body. And you can also see there's a mostly intact like adventurer's bag, like a backpack or something, lying partly buried in the soil next to the body.
Yep, I look down and I kind of say to it because nobody else is around. I'm like, yep, there's those assassin vines again, which I expected to be here, but you didn't. You didn't know about plants that try and kill you. Oh, you won't be needing this anymore. And I try and mage hand it out. I just like, grab that.
Okay. Make a check because it's pretty buried. You're gonna have to like pull it. Does the mage hand have like a strength score essentially, or how much?
Can carry up to 10 pounds.
Ooh, okay. Make a check. Like make a spellcasting, but do it at disadvantage.
Spellcast.
Whatever your normal spellcasting.
Because that is my spellcast.
Okay. I don't think I think you pull on it, but the mage hand just doesn't have the torque to get it out of there. The vines don't react though. The vines don't like constrict further or anything like that.
Well, how about we try? Now, I did do this before, but it didn't work exactly how I wanted it to. I don't know what sense organs the assassins want to use to work things out. I don't know what they can see or if they just feel things. So I try and make a little illusion of something walking over to pick up the bag.
Okay.
Just to test that as well.
Sure. Let me take a look at how this works.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
It doesn't say. Hold on a sec. Okay. Yeah. I think the thing about can you post minor illusion in the chat? I just want to see the. So a sound or image of an object. If it's an image, it can't. Right, it doesn't move. It has to be static because there's a feat that lets you move it around. So you could create an illusion of something standing in it, or an illusion of yourself, just like standing in the garden.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think anything happens.
What else can I do? You
can make a sound
My other
originating at the skeleton.
Sorry, what was that?
You can make a sound.
I could, yeah.
Because the sound is a little, wave of energy.
That's true.
Might rattle the bones a little or vibrate in a way that would set off a little planty thing.
Yeah, I've already tried to move it. With
Yeah, that's true.
You could go down there.
Yeah, like I could.
Just do
correct.
it, Malik. Just go down there.
You always have what's it?
I do, but
Shadow step, misty step.
Misty step. Yeah, I mean, you're describing yourself as being very cautious. So like, if something happens, you'd get an initiative roll for sure.
All right, I'll be careful.
Okay. All right.
Let's go. Let's go get this little bag then. Which square is it in?
Let's say it's like right here. And then yeah, I'll get you to roll that initiative roll once you get to this right down here as you're heading towards it. So roll initiative, and we'll figure out in what order these things occur.
Sorry, Adam. Which square is it in? So I can draw a little.
Yeah, I didn't.
It's like here. I'll do it. It's like right there.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you'll probably, chances are pretty good, you'll probably get to respond before. And let me see.
And that's where we see an assassin vine make an initiative roll.
No, so it's not an assassin vine. So what you see are, so you're walking down in here, and you notice as you're moving in, and you noticed it before, but like this is just sort of for color. We all get to see this real clearly. All of the flowers in here are of the same end of the color spectrum. They're all yellow, orange, red. They're all quite quite warm colored. And we see as you walk through one of the orange blossoms like open up, and then part of it kind of like make a squeezing, like a peristalsis kind of like motion in the back, and then it like flicks something at you. But you get to respond first. You hear the vine like creak or something. Something triggers that you get to go first before it does anything. But I will show you. There are several sort of not intelligent, but there are dangerous fronds in this place.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
They have strange flowers that emit in this case thorns. But yeah, you get a chance to do something. So.
Yeah. I mean, can I use?
Is Misty Step an action or a bonus action?
It's a bonus action. So
then pick it up as your action.
Yeah, I've got move and action to like grab the bag and then just teleport.
Make an athletics check to pull the bag free of the.
Oh, I'm so good at athletics.
Yeah.
Give me this. Gimme.
So you reach down, you grab the strap, and you pull it, and the skeleton kind of falls apart, like its arm and its torso come apart. And you're like, but it's stuck on a root, and you can't get it free. You still have the rest of your turn. You can move, and you can, yeah. What are you gonna do?
Just take the dodge action. You'll be fine.
Or sorry, what about?
He already
Lucky?
took his action.
Oh. I mean, like using Lucky to reroll the athletics check.
Oh, I totally could. Yeah, let's see if I'm lucky.
Okay. Like one last pull.
Give me this. Give me. I want it. I want it.
Your veins.
The strap on the backpack breaks.
Exactly. Veins straining in your face. You give yourself a hernia.
This is stupid.
Forget this.
Pop.
Okay. All right. So where you were, the fronds, they you see the blossoms all kind of like turn and open and yeah, they fling these little darts that kind of skitter off of the walls or spear other plants, and then they kind of like go back to stillness. You can see them moving slightly, but they realize that there's no food.
Yeah, and then I walk back down to the others with them like rubbing each other's faces or something.
Yeah. Arcturus is like rubbing his thumb on Ishi's face.
There are plants that try and kill you. I was right. I found them.
And they didn't. You're. And I look at Malik for like signs of like a vine wrapping around his leg or something.
Of course I'm fine. I was careful. I think I'm the only one who can do that here. So it's
Wh-
probably
wh-
best that it's me.
Where are they? So that I'm not very fond of.
They're over there. I was trying to get a thing. There was a bag and a thing, and I couldn't get it because there was a skeleton and it was halfway in the ground. And then they tried
Well,
to.
we'll deal with that after this bird talking.
Yeah, I was just looking
Like
around.
looking at the birds still like sitting there and like
Yeah, and they're all just looking at you like you bunch of fucking goofs. Yeah, they've been watching you all the whole time. And actually, I think a couple more. I think a couple more have like flown over and landed. They're all coming to sort of scope out the situation.
I certainly hope that those large birds don't intend to.
Actually,
I
I'll
mean,
just
you'd
copy
think
them
that they would have already, if they were aggressive, like, I'll just, stay.
Maybe they're just waiting for us to get closer.
Oh,
Okay, so yeah, there's 6 of them now. This one is like up in this tree, and yeah, they've all kind of like landed and are just watching.
Well, either the little fox is going to have a good time having a chat with them, or not. Well,
and I look over at Little Fox and I'm just like, how long do you think it's been?
Yeah, and
Do
I
you
think
think she-
that's around when Little Fox finishes the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I think the ritual involves a lot of like meditating and laying out of, like, she has like a little roll of, or like not a roll, but like a bundle of like animal like charms, like bones and teeth and feathers and all this kind of stuff. And she like works herself into a kind of like a trance over the course of 10 minutes, and then like opens her eyes and is able to speak with animals. Which is that they can, I mean, we remember this from back in the day with Saris speaking to herons and whatnot. It's that same spell where I can talk to them and they can understand me. They can talk to me and I can understand them. Their conversational ability might be limited by their intelligence, but they can, they'll have some information to share with me, assuming I can convince them to talk to me. So, having done this, Little Fox like stands up like a little bit like woozily, and then like settles in and gets a little more stable and like takes a couple steps forward, and then bows very deeply to these magnificent ginormous birds, and introduces herself. She says, hello, I'm Little Fox.
What language are you speaking when you do this? Because the magic makes it, but you're speaking common so your friends can understand you?
She speaks in Sylvan, which is her like native language.
Okay. So they all kind of like, they look at you and they don't seem to take any extra attention or extra notice when you speak. But one of them, let's say this one here, let's put a mark on this dude. This is like this one has a more colorful head frond than the rest. We'll say this is the slightly biggest one. It kind of like, I was gonna say cranes its neck, but that's a terrible pun.
Hey.
It tilts its head down and its sort of crest comes up a little bit, and it makes a little bit of a clucking sound, and it looks at you. And in common, all of you can hear and understand this. It says, "Arrogant creature, thinks we're beasts. How rude." And the rest are kind of like, they nod and like rankle their feathers, and says, see how it bows though. Perhaps we can spare this one and its friends. And they're all kind of like looking at each other and nodding like, maybe we'll see. Are they worth it? And one of the big one, this is the one that's talking to you, says, "What of the rest? Are you respectful as well? Come to bow before us? To kneel? Pay proper homage?"
Usually when people ask me to pay homage to stuff, they tell me who they are first so I can pay appropriate homage.
And they look at each other, and he says, more rudeness from these humanoids. You do not know of us? Do you know at least the name of the garden in which you walk?
It's
Why, this is-
Nangalore.
Yes.
Correct?
And they all nod, like, like nodding to each other, like, at least they know that much. Fool creatures. And they say, if not to pay your due respects, why have you come to Nangalore?
And Arcturus is just like, maybe we shouldn't say anything.
And Little Fox will keep being the spokesperson, even though it's probably a bad idea. And she says, she starts off by saying, I mean no offense if I address you as beasts. If anything, I have more respect for them. And she like bows again, than other folk. But we are here to see a flower that we have heard a great deal about.
The lead crane like rears up a little bit and like stretches its wings out, and as it does, you can see the inside of its wings, the feathers it's been keeping close to its body. They're white, but they have a sheen or a sparkle to them that catches in the sun. Can you make a wisdom saving throw? Let me get the DC for you. And you like look on this pattern. Make a wisdom save for me. DC 11.
Every time.
Ooh,
I
okay.
get a 1.
Like every time you have to wisdom save against like anything from another creature, and your wisdom isn't even that bad. Every time.
I'm taking the feat where I get wisdom save proficiency and +1 wisdom, but it can't come soon enough.
Okay. So you are charmed for the duration of the spell. And
Wait, it's anyone who sees it, can we see it?
Within a 30-foot cube, which none of you are within. I guess Little Fox, it's fine. It's just they only wanted to target down. So so all it does is just casually stretch and like stretch its wings out. They flicker a little. Everyone else sees the flickering, but for you, Little Fox, it's like we see your pupils dilate, and it's just this like beautiful pattern. And I think in this case, charmed doesn't mean like technically there's a condition for it. So for a minute, you can't attack the charmer or target them with harmful abilities. It has advantage to interact with you against you. But I think you're just kind of dazed, right? You're also incapacitated and have a speed of 0. So everyone you just see Little Fox like staring up at this creature.
I stand and drool after failing my skill test.
Yeah, because incapacitated means you basically can't take actions, right?
I can't like move or act. Yeah,
it's like being unconscious. Yeah, can't take actions.
Yeah, so she stares stupefied at this beautiful bird, because like we all know that Little Fox loves birds too. Like throughout the whole show, she's always loved birds, and these are like the biggest and prettiest birds ever. And so she just like is super awestruck by them.
So you had just said something about we came to visit a flower, and then it like stretched.
See a flower,
and then you don't say anything, and I guess there's like probably a moment's pause.
Yeah, there's some slight preening amongst the other birds where they're just like, yes, that's right. Like, look.
Do you...
Little Fox, are you okay? Hello?
Yeah, and she's just like totally non-reactive.
It's something that didn't...
I'm just gonna move up over here next to Little
Hold
Fox.
on, what did I say about looking at things? Making like
and like Little Fox
I can't
is like
not look at everything.
Has like a hand up as if to like touch the sparklies, you know, like
floating.
Yeah.
I'm imagining they're like the if you've read Perdido Street Station, like the wings of the moths in that thing. where you're just kind of like lose yourself in the pattern.
Are you gonna like little fox or?
You know, like, hey, wait.
And the lead creature says down to you. You see, your friend has become entranced by the beauty she looks upon. And they all kind of like preen and like stretch their necks and kind of show off. Like some of them show off their beak and some of them like, you know, stretch a leg out, like whatever they think is the most beautiful part of them. And he says, if you've come to Nangalore, you've come to bow. Best start now, little kobold.
You haven't even told me what I'm bowing to. I'll happily bow. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy to bow to lots of things, but I want to know what it is first.
And he says, we are the guardians of the queen, of course.
Did we meet the queen? Was that the one we met?
Well, then, of course, the guardians of the queen, that changes everything. Of course I'll bow. Of course I'll bow to you. Oh, great and powerful guardians.
Okay. Make a bowing and scraping check. Test your groveling skill.
I mean, I don't have a.
There's only just the one social skill, really, unless you're being deceptive. But it sounds like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not.
Like a persuasion check, but with advantage for bow and grovel.
Yeah, the thing that we normally do when you.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool.
Scrape.
15.
Okay. Yeah. So you seem like your groveling seems to please them, and they all kind of like look at each other. And one of them nearby says, "Tell me, kobold, what do you think is most beautiful about me?" And it like fans at its feathers and kind of like.
Is this a different one?
Yeah, this is a different one.
What is it doing that like would suggest?
Right, make a perception check.
It's like stretching its neck out really long.
About it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it really like it's like, look at my lovely neck. What do you think is the best thing about me, kobold?
Oh yes, the coloration on your long, lovely neck there. It's very nice. Yes.
Yeah, and it like nods like, of course. Yes, good. You're not a fool. And so yeah, the rest of them are all kind of watching warily, but they still seem to be maintaining this kind of like guard position around the door. Malik, what are you doing? Because this one is like eagle eyes on you, like you're staying back, and so it's very suspicious.
I look up at it for a second, and I kind of say quietly, I was like, it's Guardians of the Queen. Why aren't you with her? We know where she is.
And it just like cocks its head at you and says, we guard from without. The Queen is in sanctum.
Not the same queen that this place was built for.
There's only one queen.
Interesting. How do you think she would feel knowing that there is somebody else who claims to be the queen of this entire peninsula a few days away?
And it just looks at you and says, we do not seek to know the mind of the queen. We only guard her gardens.
Perhaps it would be beneficial then. You wouldn't want to keep this information from her if you let us in to speak with her. We could tell her about this pretender to the throne. Could make some sort of deal.
Make a persuade check. Nice. Good roll.
Damn.
So the leader up here hears, like, you can hear that conversation, and he says, enough. And all the rest of the birds like turn their attention on it, and he says, if these four seek an audience with Her Majesty, and he nods towards the door. Let them enter and gaze upon her beauty. And they all kind of like chuckle to each other. I
look at Malik and I'm just like,
and so they all kind of like cluck, like they're laughing. It's like little chuckling to each other. And this is about when Little Fox, you're coming out of the like daze.
Yeah, like blinking and kind of like shaking her head.
Yeah.
You said don't look at things, Malik. They said they laughed. Arcturus is being like not very sly at all.
I had to kind of step in for you here. So like,
yeah, right. Ishi's just like down on the ground,
like looking up slightly at Little Fox, like, you all right?
Well,
Yeah, and Little Fox like makes a point of bowing again deeply,
mm-hmm.
in part so that she can get close to Little Fox or to Ishi and be like, and just like nod, like just like give some little indication that she's back to being herself.
all right.
Walk up,
Well,
eyes downcast, humbly.
Yeah, and they all like look down and you're like, like they're guarding. And there is very much this idea of like, if you cause trouble, they're just acting like royal guards. Like if you cause trouble, we're right out here. We're gonna go come get you.
Oh, don't make me come in there. Turn this whole audience around.
That's right. So you see the door there's a flight of steps. There's these big 10-foot across like bronze plated doors, and the doors actually look like they've been cared for. They're like polished and tended to.
Yeah, and just to make it clear,
Yep.
both with the queen herself or the one who claimed to be the queen back in Aarakocra Town, which I already forgot the name of.
Kirsabal.
Not bowed to anyone. He's not.
Malik doesn't take the knee.
Like, he kind of stands at the back, waits till everyone's done with the kind of flattery, and then does stuff himself. Yeah, he's not very big on the whole royalty respect.
Listen, it's fine. I'm really good at bowing. It's cool.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We got.
You have a professional scraper.
He's not.
Yeah. So Little Fox, you stand before these big brass doors.
And I will push on the doors.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah.
Open them.
I'm going to take my mirror out of my bag.
Okay. It's just like take it out, not hold it.
And
at your
also,
side.
Yeah.
Little Fox, eyes downcast in humility, and also worried that she's gonna get bedazzled again. Is just like walking into.
I mean, Malik was right. This is a place where you don't want to look at things. Okay, so this chamber beyond, it's a single large chamber inside this dome. It's obvious that it is a royal apartment, or it was centuries ago. Now, the bright floral murals on the wall are dim and gray. Bits of colored glass are heaped beneath a cracked mosaic. Enameled wooden tables are split and tilting, and every bit of cloth is frayed and streaked. At the center of the room, a long divan stands atop a circular dais. So I guess she's up here. Reclining on the divan is a woman dressed in a flowing robe made from parrot feathers in stunning colors. Despite the heat, her arms, head, and face are covered in veils. Next to her, growing out of a large clay pot, is a beautiful black orchid. She addresses you in a voice tinged with odd inflections as you approach. Strangers have come to Nangalore, my love. Come forth. What boon do our subjects beseech?
Well, we're looking for
Hold on. Yes.
that right there.
And yeah, Little Fox just does the usual like grab. She's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, please.
just like behind her back. She just knows
Yeah.
where.
She's like, cards? I got some of those. Let me lay them out on the table, please.
So Andrew, is it more like, well, we're looking for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's right as you're about to say something like incriminating, it's just hand over the face.
Okay.
I think that if everyone's like standing on the steps and like just vaguely approaching, I would definitely be like back on the steps, like keeping an eye on the birds, like while they're keeping an eye on us. Yeah. I just.
And so Little Fox to the queen will say, I just want to see the flower.
And she like tilts her head.
And I'm still looking at the ground and
Yeah.
like at my own feet, basically.
She says, the gardens of Nangalore have many flowers. They built it so beautifully for me, didn't they, my love? For us. And she turns her head back to you.
When she says my love, is she talking about the flower?
No,
is she talking
she's
to
just
the flower?
staring. She's staring into empty air.
Okay, just to nothing. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
you can't see her eyes because she's got veils, but she's turned her head to like emptiness near.
Yeah,
her.
she just like asides
Yes, my
to
love.
her love.
Yeah,
Did I already make a history check to try and?
you did. Yes, and all you knew that it was made for an ancient queen.
Yeah.
Which of the many blossoms of Nangalore have you come to see? There are so many in my garden.
Is it a black orchid or a black?
It's an
lotus?
orchid. It's an orchid.
It's an orchid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, an orchid, a black one.
Ah, yes. Rarest among our treasures. And what have you brought for your queen? What gifts have you, loyal subjects?
And Little Fox reaches into like some low like pocket of her pack and pulls out the Triceratops purse.
Mm-hmm.
The like finely crafted Triceratops skin purse.
Mm-hmm. How much did we say it was worth?
I don't know if we did, but it had like a bunch of.
It definitely has a value. Let me look.
Yeah,
you got it in Needle, the pit. Needle's
Yeah.
pits. Yeah, here we go. The purse. Oh yeah, the purse itself isn't okay. It isn't worth anything. It was the yeah, it was the.
It has all of its contents.
Had all of its contents. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so it still has all that in it, and so she puts it down, on like the ground in front of her.
Mhm.
It's like the clasp of it is open, so you can see the like stuff inside, but it's all seated, kind of, got to have a nice presentation. You got to plate your treasure well.
Yeah. So she looks down at it, kind of like like tilts her head a little, and she lifts up a small silver bell and like rings it, and you hear the door on the other side open, and one of these enormous birds like steps in, like just walks in, and stands beside her, and she reaches out and just like pets its head, and it kind of like tilts its head towards her, and she says, they've brought us a treasure. And it like leans over and uses its beak to pick it up and place it in front of her, and then uses the end of these. They have these like long, thin beaks, and it uses it to like pop open the person. She just doesn't deign to touch it. She like looks down into it. And what's inside? Just like coins.
It has blue quartz rings in it. 3 of them, I think, and then
yeah,
I've got
let's see,
buckle and stones in my notes for 25 GP as well.
Yeah, I've got the list of items that are in the purse. It has let's see, 55 gold, 800 silver, and then 3 blue quartz rings.
Yeah, so the rings are like on top of the pile.
Yeah, she looks at it and she says, "Hardly a gift worthy of a queen." And she like shakes her head, and the bird just like knocks it off the dais, and it lands on the floor and spills the coins everywhere. And she says, "You're going to have to do better than that if you want to impress me."
And Little Fox speaks then and says, "It was pulled from the hoard of a dragon."
And yeah, and she says, "Did you kill this dragon?"
No, but
And that no. Don't hand on mouth. You are not talking. Because Little Fox just says, yeah.
Ishi, if you don't have inspiration already, definitely mark.
So what we hear is not no, it's,
So but before you have a chance,
has removed a hand from like the face. Yeah.
before you have a chance to answer, what Arcturus, what are you doing? You're like surrounded by these enormous birds now. And they're just kind of like looking at you the way that a bird might look at a fish.
Lovely day, isn't it?
And one of them just kind of like snaps its beak at you.
Not usually on this side of the. Anyway, yeah, he's just like very awkwardly standing there with his. I think his like shield is on one arm, you know. Like he's just like, yep. I'm not used to royalty, not fit for audience with a queen. I don't think. He motions to like smell his like dirty clothes.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just super awkward.
Yeah, definitely. Malik, what are you doing while this is happening? Are you just like standing on the stairs?
Yeah, I'm waiting. It's kind of interesting to him that Little Fox is taking the lead on this and trying to persuade this queen. But he is kind of looking around the room, trying not to look at anything in particular for too long. Trying to work out where she thinks the person that she's talking to is. That probably like concerns him for a while.
Make an insight check.
Insight tells you she's fucking nuts.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't seem to have any consistency. It'd be easier if you could see your eyes, but you can't. So anyway, Little Fox.
Yeah, so Little Fox just, to the question of like, did you kill this dragon? She just says yes. Like no explanation, just very flatly, just yes.
Make a deception check.
Hey, no problem. I'm very deceptive.
I don't think I believe that.
Yeah, it's charisma based. It's no problem. I got 8.
Okay.
I'm 8 ways of deception.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So
the Chaos Plateau is with me.
Yeah, she looks at you and says, a dragon slayer in our midst. You've killed a dragon before, haven't you, my love? I remember. Brought me its scales. A beautiful necklace of dragon teeth. Oh, how I miss it. Left behind now. The serpents have it, I suppose. And she like lashes out at the bird, like just angrily, like and then like it steps back. It sees it coming, like takes a step back, and she like snarls, and then suddenly just calms again. And she says, "Come closer, brave adventurer."
And so Little Fox will come a little bit closer.
Mm-hmm.
And while she does, she says, "We mean to take the snakes next."
Is that so? The girl in her nest will be so pleased. Perhaps the line ought to continue, my love? Then you could rest. But so much work yet to be done, and they'd forget our names. No, I think this is what she deserves, a nest of snakes instead. Fool, girl, queen of nothing, undeserving of our name. And she's like not even, it's like you're not here. She's just like talking to... The bird looks at you and shrugs. He's like, it's a living.
Yeah, hey. Yeah, so Little Fox is like, what would make them worthy of your name?
None who came after could bear it. My exile was too much. All of Omu lost. What a shame.
Are we...
We could retake it for you then.
She says,
yeah, I don't have my hand over Ishi's mouth.
Yeah. She says, for me, oh no. Omu is out of our reach forever now. Exiled. And she like looks dramatically away. And she says, they made this place for me, a monument, a garden to my love and I, but then exiled us here. A betrayal, and for it I hate all of Chult. But they did not know what they were doing, like children without a father. Poor things.
And there's just this awkward pause where she's talking on some nonsense, basically, and Little Fox is like, this lady is out of her mind.
Did we even get her name, by the way?
We still don't have her name.
Because
It's assumed that we know it because we're here to beseech her boon. Whatever.
Oh, just, I'm like peeking around Little Fox to like say these things, and I'm like, so just to make sure we're still bargaining for treasure for the flower, because I might have some treasure that.
And yeah, and she notices, she hears you, and she like leans forward slightly, and she says, does the little one have something to say to us? Come forward, creature.
And she steps around to here, nice and close.
Yeah.
The
The bird looks down at you like, you better not be trying some shit. I'm gonna get you.
And she digs in her pack and pulls out the which item do I want to?
Yeah, right. Here's the gamble.
I have a dragon tooth, or I have the box that's like the skulls with the diamonds in it.
Yeah, you have two diamonds, right?
She did say that she liked dragon scales from her dragon scale necklace.
Yeah, so the skull, but the skull box is only worth like 12 gold.
Yeah, but the diamonds are worth 500 each.
Yeah, exactly. A single diamond is worth 500 gold.
So I'm gonna take out of my bag the tooth from the dragon. And show it to her, and I'm gonna say like, this is one of the teeth from the big dragon Little Fox was talking about. Maybe this?
Trophies of valor mean nothing to me if the valorous act was done in someone else's name. If you want to impress me, go and kill that terrible red serpent that lives in the south. Bring me its skull. Do this for my love and my approval. And she like looks at the empty air like, see, you would do this for me, wouldn't you?
I would like to, but we need the flower to go and do the killing.
It sounds to me like you're trying to haggle. I am your queen, not some mere merchant. And the bird like puffs up like, oh yeah, let's do it. And I'm gonna fight you. And he like gets up in your face. He's an angry bird now. And she's just like, how dare you treat me like this?
Okay, but I have one more thing. Before before your great eminence strike me down.
She puts her hand up to the bird like, calm down, don't get crazy. And she says to you, very well.
I take out the box. And I unhook the skulls from each other so I can open it up. And inside there's the diamonds. They're like, this is the most expensive thing I own.
And the crane leans in and picks up the diamond with the, like, these things are really like, they're like chopsticks, the accuracy they have. So she just picks up the diamond and holds it up to the queen. And you see her skin for the first time. She extends her hand out, and it drops the diamond into her palm. She has this like beautiful, like perfect, like flawless porcelain skin, like texture wise, but it's this like deep black, like night black.
Just by the way, for anybody who's looking at Ishi's face and like recognizes any kind of kobold expression, this is the most painful thing she's
her
ever
tail is
had
doing
to
this little
do.
flick that indicates like great displeasure.
Happening, and
Yeah, I think Little Fox kind of like winces when she notices. She's like,
yeah. And so she reaches out, and she has these like beautiful green, like lacquered nails. She puts her hand out, and it places the diamond in her palm, and she looks at it, and she says, you can actually hear, I think Little Fox, but especially you see the two of you are close enough, you hear like a faint from somewhere like near her. You hear like a faint, like a whispering sound, like a series of whispering noises.
Oh gosh.
Like just like
Okay, she's possessed by a demon or something.
And
something-
you drop and she looks at it and she closes her palm around it and her hand recedes back into her veils, her feathered veils, and she says, finally a gift worthy of a queen. For this, I think, and she reaches out to the little like the pot next to her, and with her sharp nails just like clips the stem of the orchid and holds it between her fingers and just like reaches out.
Little Fox visibly winces when the flower gets cut too. She's
just like snip.
She only took one of the diamonds, right?
She did just take the one diamond, yeah.
So I fold the box up
Mhm.
and like put it away as soon as I can, and if she's holding out the flower to me, I reach out to like take it in my little claw hand.
Okay. So yeah, you reach up and grab, and we get this like, you know, the painting of like God, right, where she's reaching down with the flower and everything else is all vignetted, and you take it and she says, you see, even after everything, we can still show mercy, my love.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for this beautiful gift that you've given us back in you know our service, or I don't know. We're gonna go now.
And she nods and she says, good. Return to the jungle, leave this cursed place. But tell the girl, Zelkore knows. The line must continue.
I'll tell her. Yep.
Little Fox.
So she, yeah, sorry, you go ahead.
Just like in the background is scoops all the money back into the purse and just like
Scraping off the floor.
Like, okay, you don't want this one, I'll just take all my money.
It's pittance.
God damn. Yeah, sorry. Just as a little aside.
And I like walk back out of this room.
Yeah, and as you're leaving, as you go outside, you see Arcturus like surrounded by these hungry looking birds. She yeah, I think the queen just watches after you as you go. And then you come outside. And Malik, you're there waiting for your friends.
Yep.
Okay.
We got the flower. I got it.
Oh, well, then we can go. And I think that Arcturus would like take a half step forward, and then there's those two giant birds like right there.
Yeah,
He's
it's kind of looking at you like you're gonna cause trouble because we're here to fight. If you were guards, we're gonna do the thing.
No, just leaving. Just
yeah, and they kind of like clear a path for you.
Thanks. Bye. Forever.
I think as you leave, Ishi, you hear Zelkore like weeping softly until the bird comes up and like pulls the door shut as you go.
There is actually, I probably shouldn't say this while there's all these birds here. Never mind.
Just like let's go.
And let's get as soon as we get like what I think is out of earshot, I like clear my throat and like hold my hand out to Ishi.
What, you want the flower?
You said that you thought the flower would be in the central, and it was not. We made a bet.
But I already.
Yeah, Little Fox just like reaches out and takes the flower in her hand, like cups it very gently, and just like, you just give me this. You pay your friend out. Like, she just kind of like gently removes the flower from her hand.
It'll end up in like a pocket and like
I'm just like
Nubub will just eat it.
Yeah.
And then like Little Fox spends a little while like getting the flower set up in some way of carrying it.
All right, I give 10 gold grudgingly to Arcturus.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, like Little Fox like makes a little like terrarium thing, like potion bottle or something to like house this flower in, and like spends time looking at it and cooing to it.
Shall we return to the canoe, or?
Well, there's plenty still to explore here, but I'm not a huge fan of a place infested with the ghost of some overly pompous former queen of nowhere.
Nice.
Well,
Wow.
she seemed pretty sad when we were leaving. She was.
Well, I would be too if I'd been dead and forgotten by my people for however many hundreds of years.
So
Odds.
we're walking through this building.
I
hey?
didn't realize that while we were having that conversation that Malik had died and come back a shade. Good one. Overly pompous former queen of nowhere is the name of Zalcore's pop single on her new album.
It's her memoir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Little Fox is gonna walk through this building.
Okay.
Does the jar in this room with between the statue's legs look like the jar that the orchid was in the other room?
No. The orchid was in a similar structure, like a clay pot, with a similar looking, like this whole place is decorated in the same kind of style.
Yeah, so like made by the same people.
Made by the same people. Yep.
But not the exact same thing.
But not the same. Yeah. This is a sealed, like, it looks like it's an urn, not a jar, really.
Oh, right. So this is her love. Those are his ashes. Don't mess with them.
But his face is all like shredded off too.
Yeah, there's some disgrace or tension there.
Yeah, something.
So yeah, like Little Fox like looks at the statue and like contemplates the statue for a minute.
Yeah.
While everyone else filters in.
An ancient statue meant to commemorate a person, but with all features torn away, and so now just a statue of a man with a spear and a shield.
So do we just head back to Kirsabal, or should we look around, or what?
There's some trifling things still to look for as I was exploring around.
Are you not
Interested, but
Are you not afraid of those birds getting? I'm not very fond of the birds.
well,
The birds care about the queen or the lady in there, but they don't seem to care about the rest of the place.
Yeah,
No.
Little Fox is like shaking her head and just says, "Don't trust them."
Uh,
And, like scowls.
I would have been just as happy burning all those birds. Then
Yeah,
concentrate with that creature, but
I point at the statue across the way. The like one
Terrified person, like
Yeah.
reaching for the urn.
person. Didn't want to risk it.
well, that's why I had precautions in place.
Really? You can turn people back from being statues?
I may be able to turn people back from being statues.
Why don't you turn that guy back?
I could, but we were worried that it might occur to one of us, and honestly, I'm more concerned about you than whoever that is.
Fair enough.
If we are to leave, then perhaps we could save this fellow from eternity as a stone statue before we go. But
That's what I was thinking. If we're gonna go, then we might as well, help them.
Hmm.
And Little Fox to Arcturus will just say, if he was a man, he's being punished by her, and like indicates the queen with her eye, like over there, that one, and just like shakes her head. She seems angry.
Oh.
And like shrugs, like maybe we shouldn't fuck around with the people she's like
Okay.
cursed to be stoned forever. Maybe she'll curse you to be stoned forever if you do that. But just all that summed up in just like a shrug.
I'm just saying I wouldn't want to be stuck as a statue if people could help me not be a statue.
quite, I'm at a bit of a... Oh dear.
this is one of those situations where I'm looking at my alignment and I'm like, I'm neutral. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. She cursed him.
The reason that
whatever.
I'm playing this the way I am is because of my alignment.
Yeah, which is like reasonable. It's fair. That's a moral compass for your characters.
Well, and also like Arcturus, while he's good, is also lawful.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if this is I don't know how things go here.
You don't know what the law is vis-a-vis turning people to stone.
I mean, he could be a terrible criminal thief or whatever, but I've been a terrible criminal thief a couple of times, and stone seems pretty harsh.
Uh,
I don't think it's actually our decision to make.
what do you mean?
We know her. We know this queen's lineage has continued to the girl up in Casabal. When she knows the state that it's in, perhaps she will have a preference for what happens there. Because I don't mind either way. This place does seem cursed, and probably for a good reason. Her as well. Once we find out what that is, what went down at Omu, then I would make my decision then, whether we come here deface some statues out of personal anger or I don't know.
Yeah, y'all feel certain that you're missing part of the story, right? Like there's a subtext here that you haven't been party to.
Yeah, like she was exiled here by her own people, it sounds like.
Exactly. Like, I know that she was exiled by the people, so that's why I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't really afford her any undue respect, and she just expected it out of us. So he was like, kind of fuck you, sort of.
Yeah, you don't have the ability to like save a person that's been turned to stone anyway. So
The blessing is I could do greater restoration, and that would save someone who was petrified.
Mm-hmm. You could just use it.
Does it use it up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was your boon. If you really feel like you ought to, then I won't stop you. But I think it might be a waste for the time being.
Okay, well,
Okay, here's something I'll put out there, which is totally like something I shouldn't say, but I'm just going to say.
Oh.
See, even the internet doesn't want you to say
the
it.
internet's like, don't say
No,
it.
don't say it.
If this man is an ancient Chultan who has... Sorry, is my internet back? Okay, cool. If this man is a... Okay.
Okay.
So, this man is an ancient Chultan who was turned to stone, and if he can speak ancient Chultan, then he is an archaeological relic of incredible importance.
And an anthropological relic.
Oh,
Exactly.
heck.
To both of your disciplines, this man represents an incredible find if you can just be like, boop, you're a person again. And then you can learn the language.
Like a Pitcairn man or whatever, but he's not dead.
Yeah. Like it would be wild.
If indeed he is ancient Chultan, yes.
Yeah, so if y'all want to maybe identify whether or not that is the case based on...
I mean, I just think that Arcturus, if he has the ability, can I like make a roll to see if I think that like...
If you would like to disclaim responsibility for your decision, you could just roll a die and do it. That's fine.
No. I want to know if like, does our like... And you could just tell me whether this is the case or not. Does Arcturus know whether the like boon that he has, greater restoration or what have you, will indeed save this person?
Arcturus only knows the text of the spell. Right? This is exactly the same as saying, like, if I stab him with my sword, will he die? And I'm like, I'm not going to tell you his hit points.
So I can't tell if he's turned to stone because he is petrified, like as a spell effect, or if it's like something else.
I mean, if you could tell me how you would know that by looking at him.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen a person that was petrified before.
Could they make an Arcana check or something to suss that out?
Yeah, I just wonder if there's some kind of like check that I could make to know if the thing would work or not.
I mean, the spell specifically says if he is a person who has been petrified by a magical effect, it will fix him, yes.
So it's just whether or not he's been petrified by a magical effect.
Right. On the first round, he was afraid. In the second round, he failed his saving throw and he became petrified.
Right. Um,
I hate you.
Yeah, I get that reference.
Like I said it, and I was like, "Oh boy, I'm the worst."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, this is where I need that.
yeah. You
ability
be
to
able to
walk
slam
across
the door.
open the door, close the door, and then in the parking lot, you hear me getting on a bike and riding away.
well, little fox could smell him.
Yeah, and she like hears her name and comes back because she was ready to just be like, "Cool, we're done here."
I wouldn't want someone to leave me here for centuries. I don't think that I can, if I can help.
Yeah, and little fox like scowls at you.
You notice looking at him, he also has there's graffiti at his feet, scratched into the floor
Oh, well, can I?
that you didn't see before. You can't understand it. It's in the same language as all the other ones.
Oh, well, I'll write it down. But like, can you? It's. I mean, is it magic that made him this way, or?
You want to detect magic?
Yeah, I will detect magic.
Okay. All right. So
What manner of ensorcelation does he stink of?
Okay.
Probably.
So you close your eyes, you focus, and when you open your eyes, we take a break, and when we get back, we can find out what manner of ensorcelation is at play. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Tomb of Annihilation.